fourth day of the faculty development program. Sorry, there was a glitch. The entire days we had witnessed were very informative that gave us an idea about how cybersecurity is playing a vital role in a day-to-day life. How AI/ML is changing the world of cybersecurity. Today with us, we have another speaker, Mr. Tushar Sharma, who is a co-founder of TOFI, the Organization for Enlightenment and Education, and the founder of BCIIT Solution. Mr. Tushar Sharma is a lawyer, cybersecurity and forensics professional, a cybercrime consultant, and a trainer with over 9 years in security and digital. Tushar Sharma is a capacity building in the digital landscape. He trained around 15,000 students across India. He is an academician and a researcher. He has been associated with law enforcement agencies, to name a few. Him are the 2024. He has been recognized as a cybersecurity expert for contribution in the field. The Pacific Award by Kotak Life, which has been honored for cyber awareness initiative through CSR session. Vishesh Samman by Bharat Vikas Parishad 2023 as a recognition for contribution to cyber education and awareness. With a mission to create a cyber safer cyberspace, Tushar continues to train and guide individuals, businesses, and law enforcement agencies in the evolving threats of cybercrime. We are lucky to have such a important speaker with us for the day. We welcome you on board, Mr. Tushar Sharma. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Sonia, ma'am, a big thanks to you for the detailed introduction. Hope I am audible. If yes, just give me a thumbs up. Thank you.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Uh, Before starting, just wanted to know two, three things. First, all the participants are having the access to the reactions, right?
Yes.
Okay. They can access chat and any possibility if they can unmute themselves and they can talk. Or for the first session,
So,
we can enable chat option only, and in the second option, we'll
so
see
we
how
have
we.
enabled the chat option
Okay.
because the number of participants is more. That is why just the chat option has been enabled. If they want to put up a query, they can raise their hand. We can unmute the mic for them.
Great, 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 great. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, before starting, would like to thank BCIIT for the invitation. It's my pleasure. It's my honor that I am invited for this FDP. Before starting, there are some expectations that I want to set from this session. I think we are around 180 people in this call, and for next 3 hours we'll be together. So my only objective will be to share whatever the experience, the observation, and knowledge I have. All the details I'll be sharing with you. although we are having 1.5 hours for one topic and next 1.5 hours for second topic, I have tried to wrap up everything that I can cover, the important pointers that I can touch base upon in next 90 minutes. And for the next section, similarly, we'll try to share some case studies as well on which I have individually worked, supporting the law enforcement agencies or working in the individual capacity. In the end of the session, I would be requesting some questions from the audience based on the topic that we are going to discuss. One more and most important thing, we are around 182 people in this call. So I am unable to see all the people. We can talk in the sign language. Wherever we feel the session is going in the boring mode, I would be requesting you to just type in the chat window so that we can add some pointers. I can add some case studies to make it more interesting. And the ultimate objective is at the end of this session, when you will be leaving this FDP, think today we are on the last day of this FDP. I would be requesting you if you all can share the takeaways that we have during this session at the end of the session. Without wasting time, I am going to share my screen. And cybersecurity is something where I'm working since last, say, 11 years, close to 11 years. Okay, so let's start with the very first question. Am I audible? If yes, give me a thumbs up, please. Thank you. Okay, is my screen visible? Okay, my screen is visible if anyone can confirm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So as you can see, the very first slide says AI-driven cybersecurity for blockchain. AI-driven cybersecurity for blockchain. We have three terms, and these are three different universes that we are going to talk in next 3 hours. First, let's talk about AI. AI, as we all know, this is artificial intelligence. Second, we talk about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a term that we are listening, we are hearing. It's been more than 7 or 8 years. Any fascinating thing that you talk about, especially in the cybersecurity domain, people think like, okay, wow, cybersecurity domain, that person is coming from cybersecurity domain, that person is having a decent knowledge, that person is working on the different cases, and what a fascinating life that person is having. But the reality is entirely different. How the reality is different, that we'll be talking. Third term is blockchain. Now again, I would request all the participants, now we are close to 200 participants. If you have ever heard all these three terms, give me a thumbs up, please. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thumbs up I got. Great. Thank you. Now, in next 90 minutes, what exactly we are going to cover? First, we are going to talk about blockchain overview. Next, we are going to talk about cyber threats in blockchain. Third, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence for security. And next, most important thing, we'll be talking about the research and takeaways. Now, if I may know, how many research scholars do we have in this call? You can raise your hands. How many research scholars we have? Okay. Okay, I can see few hands. Okay. Okay, great. So how many of us are working in the same domain, like artificial intelligence or cybersecurity or blockchain? You can give me a thumbs up. Whosoever is working in any of the three domains. Okay. Okay, I can see cybersecurity.
I too working in the same domain.
Okay. So now what's the purpose of asking this question? As we are going to talk about these three, especially these three galaxies. So I would say these three are the galaxies. We'll be touching base upon two, three important pointers, and then we'll be diving deeper. But before starting, hope you all can see the screen. So there is a slide that says blockchain and two question marks, and there is a chain. Now I want my audience to help me in understanding what exactly this blockchain is. Just write in 3 or 4 words. What exactly do you think this blockchain is? I know some of you might think like this is the FDP program and the very basic question the speaker is asking. But I'll tell you the reason of asking this question. What exactly the understanding with the term blockchain? Just define it in 2 or 3 words. Just open your chat window and type. Okay, crypto. Blocks are decentralized ledger connected in chain. Okay. So the more we'll interact, the more session will be interesting. Otherwise, there will be a time when you will start sleeping, and this is something that I don't want. Okay, decentralized chain of blocks for transactions. Great. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So in layman terms, I can say this blockchain is a word that is generated after adding 2 words. One is block and one is chain. Now, how this block and chain help us? Now, if you can see on the screen, there is a chain behind this text, and that text is 0 and 1. Can anyone help me with this? Like why this 0 and 1 only 2 digits are there? Okay, decentralized chain of blocks, cryptocurrency, secure transaction, collection of blocks and decentralized, transparent, immutable and secure data. Okay, so I think my audience is already on top of the discussion pointers that I'm going to talk in next 90 minutes because of binary classification bingo. So it means here for blockchain, we are going to talk about something that is dealing with 0 and 1. It means that is either a digital device or anything related to digital, or in other terms I can say something related to the binary. Okay, I'm looking for the one exact answer I already got from S Abhirami. I want one more answer. Why we are going to talk about this blockchain? What is the purpose of talking about this blockchain? We all know what AI is, artificial intelligence. We all know what cybersecurity is. But why this blockchain? And the second session that we are having, that is also associated with the same term. Cryptocurrency. Okay, I got it. I got one more answer. Crypto and cryptocurrency. Secure transaction. Yes. Secure transaction. Yes. Okay. So how many of us are aware this blockchain is a company? Blockchain.com. Is it a company? If yes, give me a thumbs up. If no, that's completely fine. Blockchain is a company? Yes or no? Bitcoin, yes, bingo. Secure digital records transaction, yes. Decentralized control. Okay, so now I am 100% sure that I am going to enjoy my next 2 hours, 3 hours, and will also try that you all can enjoy. So basically, this is something related to the finances. This is something related to the crypto. This is something related to the Bitcoin. This is something related to the digital records, or I can say related to the transactions. Now, what sort of transactions we are talking about? How many of us are using UPI? I know, very silly question I'm asking. How many of us are using UPI? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Great. Okay. Most of us are using UPI. How many of us have seen money traveling while doing UPI? I am repeating my question. How many of us have seen money traveling while you doing UPI? Money is going out from your bank, going to a server, and then from that server it is going to the person to whom you are sending the money. How many of us have seen? Okay. Yes, we have seen. Okay. So if you are sitting in Delhi, for example, and you have to do a heavy transaction of say 1 CR or 2 CR, how that can be done? Can UPI help me in that? Yes or no? No. Okay, thank you. No. Okay, so I got the second no. Okay. Okay. It means for UPI, for a bigger transaction, UPI will not be used. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the active participation. Now, coming back to the topic that we are going to talk about, blockchain. First, we are going to talk about how this blockchain works. Next, we'll be talking about the main fundamentals of blockchain, and then we'll be switching it to artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Okay, so when we talk about the transaction, as you can see on the screen, we have A and we have B. There is some transaction request that is generated. Now, there is something that some part of these terms like P2P networks, validation, we are going to talk about in the second session as well. But we can have a 20,000 feet overview for the things that we are going to talk in this session. In detail, we'll be talking later. Now, when someone is requesting for a transaction, now you can see there are certain steps that transaction is done. On the very first step, it says the requested transaction is broadcast to a P2P network consisting of computers known as nodes. It means in further slides, there will be a new term that will be introduced to words, that will be nodes. In the second form, here we can see the network of the nodes validates the transaction and the user's status using known algorithms. It means this is going to be something related to the public key and private key because validation is going to happen. Now in the last step, a verified transaction can involve cryptocurrency, contracts, records, or other informations. Now from this slide, we have new terms that we are going to talk in next slides. First is P2P network that we are going to talk about. Second is nodes. Third is validation algorithms. Fourth is cryptocurrency, contracts, records, and there are some other informations that we'll be talking about. Now, these are the blockchain fundamentals. The very first, so this is not limited to it. So we cannot say can
Tushar, sir, we are unable to hear you. You are not audible to us.
There is some glitch. He'll join soon. Please wait. There is some technical issue. The speaker would join soon.
ma'am, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, actually I
Yes,
got
sir. You
lost.
are audible.
Thank you. Okay.
Not audible, sir. Again.
Uh, now is it fine?
Yes, it is fine. Your camera is also not working, I think.
No, no, camera I switched off because I was sneezing. So
It's okay. Sir, I hope you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
now,
Yes, yes. Now,
okay. Okay. Now we are talking about decentralization. So when we talk about any transaction, basically that ledger is sharing the details with the nodes. Now when we talk about the nodes, it means nodes are the computer systems where that transaction is going to happen. The beauty of using blockchain is we are not having any centralized system. So every time I'll be taking one example, and with that example it would be easier for all of us to get the better understanding. When we talk about the centralized system, it means we are having one centralized node and all other nodes are connected to that particular one. So whenever I'll be taking the example of a hacker. In the entire session, that hacker example will be common for all the scenarios that we are going to talk about. Now, if there is a hacker and that hacker wants to hack into any of the nodes, then what is the primary thing that a hacker should do if that hacker wants to enter in any of the system? Here we are talking about the centralized system. Just open the chat window and you can type. If a hacker wants to enter into any of the systems, what that person can do? Okay, I got one answer, that is sniffing. Okay, I am having total 90 systems with me, and out of those 90 systems, I want to enter any one of the systems. What should I do? Or where should I hit? Which is the weakest part of the entire network or the entire system? Yes, tell me the weakest part. I got one answer, that is sniffing. Okay. Which is the weakest part where I should hit to enter in any of the systems? Or let me reframe my question. What are the benefits of having a centralized system? If I am having a centralized system, what all are the benefits? If I am audible, give me a thumbs up, please. Thank you. Okay. Distributing. Okay. If I want to enter in any of the nodes in a centralized system, where I should hit? One entry point for data access, faster communication. No, I'm repeating my question. I have a network of say 90 nodes, 90 computer systems are connected in a centralized manner. I want to enter in any of the systems, where I should enter, where I should hit. Yes, I got the answer, that is central database. So it means in this scenario, I can hit on the centralized node. And if I am able to get the access of the centralized node, it would be easier for me to get the access of all other 90 nodes that is connected to that particular network system. Now, when I talk about, yes, thank you. Now, when I talk about decentralization, now what exactly the thought process with decentralization is? That things will not be kept at one place. Things will be distributed. Now, when we talk about distribution, what does this distribution means? I'm again going back to the very first slide. Very first slide says 1, 2, 3, 4. They are the 4 blocks. And basically this blockchain somehow relates to this simple image. How it works. So on the screen you can see the main fundamentals that we have. When we talk about the block, then there is a list of blocks, n number of blocks we have, and all these blocks have a unique ID. That is the first thing. Second, when a block is connected, so the hash value of previous block is stored in the next block, just to make the sequence. Third, whenever a chain is generated, all blocks have their centralized data with them. I'm repeating this statement. All blocks have their centralized data with them. Now, at one part, we are saying that it is a here the data is decentralized, but at one part a contradicting statement that I say that each block have their own centralized data. What does that mean? That means if we talk about one block, that block is having three values. What all these three values are? First is the hash value of the previous block. Next, the important information that this block contains. And third is the hash value of this current block. So when we talk about these three important values, it means this particular block is in itself a centralized block. Okay, so am I making sense? If yes, give me a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we are having total 5 blocks. 5 blocks having their own centralized data with them. Now if I am going to pick third block, can I access the information of that third block? Yes or no? Write in the chat window, please. I am having total 5 blocks. Out of 5 blocks, I am going to pick the third block. And while picking the third block, will I be able to access all the information? Yes or no? I am having total 5 blocks. I am picking the third block. Will I be able to get the all information of the entire 5 blocks? Just think twice, please. We are talking about 5 blocks. Out of 5 blocks, I am picking one block. Will I be able to access all the information with that block? Yes or no? Okay, Devi R and Dipiksha Rana says no, but Urvashi Sangwan say yes. Narayana Rao S says yes. Okay, so good morning. If I am going to pick the third block from the chain of 5 blocks, and if I want to access the information, Pranav Bhaskarji says yes, because every block have hash value of the next block. But my dear sir, we are having total 5 blocks and I am picking the third block. When I am picking the third block, then third block can have the information of the second block and itself only. What about first? What about fourth and fifth? This is the beauty. Yes, by link between all blocks. If I am going to make any changes or if I am going to touch anything in the entire chain, that is going to distort everything. I'm not sure how many of us have heard this, that a person was dealing in Bitcoin. All the amount was stored in the hard wallet and someone called him, took the private key and the account got blocked. Now that person is still struggling to get that account unfreezed. That account is still freezed. That person is not able to access that particular account. How that happened? That happened because of this part only. The main fundamental we talk about, or the main feature we talk about of this blockchain, is this talks on the decentralized data. That is first thing. Second, it talks on the hash values. If we are going to make any minute change in any of the block, that is going to impact the hash value. And if one hash value differs or varied, then it is not going to verify from the next block. Then entire chain will be wasted. So this is the main reason why blockchain is used in making the transactions while dealing with the crypto. Okay, now these are the explanations. When we talk about the decentralization, it means the ledger is distributed across many computers. So no single entity controls it. The very first example that we were talking about, when we talk about the centralized system, if I want to enter into any one of the system, then I can hit on the server one, the main one. But in case of decentralization, it would be difficult. It would not be impossible, but it would be difficult for a hacker to enter into a system and to take out all the information that he or she wants. Next, immutability. What exactly this immutability is? The answer of the question that I was asking, that I am having 5 blocks and if I'm going to pick one block. So immutability says once a block is added, it's nearly impossible to alter because it would require changing all subsequent blocks and gaining network consensus. So I hope who all were saying the answer as yes. With immutability, we have the answer. Once a block is added, it is next to impossible to alter the value. We will be getting the two values, no doubt. We will be having the hash values. But what we are going to do with those hash values? That would be of no use for us or for the hacker. So more information would be required. So it would require changing all subsequent block and gaining network consensus. When a transaction is started, all these steps, as we are going online, we are having the digital footprints. I am sure yesterday or day before yesterday, the session we had with I think Mr. Tanmay, he must have talked about digital footprint. When we talk about the digital footprint for individual, same footprints we have with the blockchain as well. So when any transaction is executed in the network consensus is taken. And for the entire transaction, network works as a witness that yes, this transaction is started from this point and will be ending at this point. There will be no disturbance in the entire process. Again, that is one of the benefits of using blockchain. Consensus mechanism, what exactly this consensus mechanism is? The rules like proof of work or proof of stake that nodes follow to agree on the validity of new blocks. The same thing in layman terms we talk about just now. When a transaction is happening in the network, so the first node and the last node will be during the entire transaction, that network will be working as a witness or a monitoring entity in the entire transaction. If anything happens in between, then at the same time network will be raising a flag that something is not correct. One more important term that we talked in the first, second or third slide, that was smart contract. All the transactions, those are happening while using the blockchain. Smart contracts plays an important and very crucial role. So when we talk about the decentralized part, decentralized or centralized part, again coming back to my previous example, when a hacker wants to enter in any of the systems, any of the nodes, then that particular hacker can hit on the centralized system or the centralized node. Similarly, when we talk about blockchain, so smart contracts help in making the entire process very smooth, but at the same time, the process is prone with the smart contract as well. How? So first let's talk about the definition of this smart contracts. So these are the self-executing programs stored on the blockchain that automatically run when predefined conditions are met, eliminating the need of intermediaries. I'm repeating and I'll be emphasizing on 3 words in this entire statement. Self-executing programs is stored on the blockchain that automatically runs when predefined conditions are met. It means whenever a transaction is going to happen, there will be some predefined conditions, and those conditions have to be satisfied in making that particular transaction successful. And there will be no need of any intermediaries. How? These are the first point was self-executing programs. Second was the automatically run programs. We have self-executing programs and we have the programs that are going to run automatically when we are having the predefined conditions. When predefined conditions are met, that program will be running automatically. Now, if a hacker wants to hit in the system, then that hacker can directly attack on the smart contracts. The self-executing programs, if I can breach into the self-executing programs, then it would be easier for me to make any changes in the blockchain. So this is one of the benefit, one of the crucial part of the blockchain, but at the same time one of the weakest part as well, that we'll be discussing in the later slides. Now we talk about blockchain, we talk about cybersecurity. Now let's talk about why blockchain needs cybersecurity. When we talk about blockchain, so somehow there is a perception or the reality that says that if we are using blockchain, it means we are secured. But at the same time, we are not completely secured. So for that, we would be requiring some cybersecurity skills, mechanisms to make that particular blockchain process more secure. Now, why it is required? Why blockchain needs cybersecurity? First is high value assets. Here we are talking about the high value assets. We are not talking about 50,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees. How many of us are using crypto? We have invested in crypto. Just give me a thumbs up, please. Nobody have invested in crypto, bitcoins. Okay. Am I audible? If yes, give me a thumbs up, please. Thank God. Thank God. I thought the discussion that I am having that is making people sleeping. Okay. Now, first is high value assets, because the asset value is very high. Second most important thing is automation via smart contracts. In the last slide that we talk about smart contracts, what exactly these smart contracts are? These are the self-executing programs stored on blockchain that automatically run when predefined conditions are met. Here, why cybersecurity is required? The same point that I discussed in the previous slide. Automation via smart contract is there, and for the safety of that automation, we need cybersecurity. Next, open and permission-less systems we have while talking about blockchain. So there is no specific flags that are generated post initiating a transaction. So that is the first point. Second, there are no intermediaries. If you can see here on the previous slide, with the smart contract, it says eliminating the need of intermediaries. So if we are having someone, then that particular part can help us in accessing the permission. But when we are eliminating all those intermediaries, at the same time, we will not be requiring any permission. So it is open and permissionless system. So for the safety of that particular part, we would be requiring cybersecurity. Okay, we talked about why we need cybersecurity. Now, most important thing that we have is blockchain threat landscape. What all are the threats that we have. First, the very first point, smart contract exploits we talked about. What was that? The smart contracts that we have, all those smart contracts can be exploited. How those contracts can be exploited? If anyone can write in the chat window, please. Can anyone write in the chat window, please? How those smart contract can be exploited? Loophole in coding, yes, bingo, 1 point. And how smart contracts can be exploited? Coding loopholes, I got it. If I want to enter in any of the contract, what I have to do? Yes, please, 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 I'm waiting for the answers. No. Lack of input validation, yes, one of the pointers, yes, lack of input validations. I got 2 pointers. One is loophole in the coding, second is lack of input validation. Third, most important point. Again, I am back on the slide that is having the definition. And here is the answer. Condition can be manipulated. Yes, bingo. Urvashi Sangmanji, you got it. It means when we talk about the smart contract, these are the self-executable programs. And if I can make any changes in any of the program, it means my work is done. So the biggest threat is contract exploitation. The contract can be exploited simply by finding the loophole in the coding, or instead of checking the loophole, what I'll do, I'll start hitting on the executable code. If I'll be able to make any changes in that executable code, my work is done. Next is 51%. Yes, 51% attack. Phishing is very easy. We're talking about blockchain. Phishing is very easy. I remember manipulation of code doesn't change hash code. Manipulation of code doesn't change hash code. Like that can change. That can change. But at the same time, for the very first node, if I have changed the if I have manipulated the code, it means the same code will be executed for all next values. If I talk about, again coming back to my last example, I was having 5 blocks. The very first block is having a hash value of the previous block, and that previous block is, I'm not having any previous block, then this hash value will be 0000. Now if I'm going to make any changes from block 1, it means the entire change belongs to me. Whatever I want to do, I can do. But at the same time, if I'm going to make any changes in block 2, 3, 4 or 5, then no changes will be done. That transaction will be stopped at the same point. So from the very first node, if I have manipulated the code, in that case, hash value, whatever the hash value is created, I'm not concerned with all those hash values. All the values will be changed as per the code that I have inserted at the time of contract exploitation in the starting only. Okay. Okay. Next is exchange and break. Okay, Sapna Khudia says she's not able to see the slides. My screen is visible. Sonia ma'am, if you can confirm me, please.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, okay ma'am. Okay ma'am. Sapna ma'am, you can check your internet connection, please. Next is wallet compromise. There were around 20 cases in 30 days that the calls I received last year. There was a new trend that was in the market that people start investing in bitcoins. Initially, you can spend 20,000 rupees, and after 3 years or 4 years, you will be getting 1 lakh rupees. Or initially, you can spend 5,000 rupees, you can purchase Bitcoin, you can keep it in the wallet, and after 3 years or 4 years, you will be getting say 5 lakh rupees or 7 lakh rupees. This was a common new trend that was in the market. People start investing in the Bitcoins. Everyone was mad for the cryptocurrency. I am going for this, I am going for that, I want this. After 5 years, I'll be having $20,000 in my account. Right now I'm investing only 5,000 rupees. Tushar, why don't you invest? Initially, there is a small investment of say 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees. Just deposit and forget. After 3 years or 4 years, you'll be getting a decent amount. So that was a new trend that was in the market. What happened with that trend? After 6 months of that trend, there was a new trend in the market that was talking about the wallet compromise. The same people who were calling and requesting me to invest 15,000 rupees, they people start calling me asking for help that I invested 25,000 rupees, but now my wallet is compromised. Now how we can get my amount back? That was the biggest threat that people were having at that time. Now how they were able to get that? What is the process? How the wallet was compromised, that we'll be talking in the later slides. Next, exchange and bridge hacks. This also we'll be talking in detail in the further slides. Okay, we are talking about cybersecurity, but before that cybersecurity, we were having a traditional security. Now, what was that traditional security? The very first point, if you can see, is rule-based detection. Now, what is that exactly rule-based detection is? Okay. How many of us have visited the bank for the transaction? We are having a check and we want to make a withdrawal of say 20,000, 25,000, and we are visiting the bank, and then bank will be depositing that check, and then bank will be providing us that amount. How many of us have done that? Just raise your hands, please. Okay, I got one thumbs up. Okay. Okay. Most of us have done that. Have you ever analyzed or observed the process that is followed when you are having the check, and if you are having an account in that particular bank, or if you are not having any account in that particular bank, and if you get a check, there is a sign of that account holder on the check, on the back of the check. When you are going to deposit that check, the person, the executive who is sitting in the bank, that person will be asking for your ID card. Along with that ID card, that person will be asking to attach a photocopy of your Aadhaar card or any ID. First thing. Second, that person will be asking you to write your name. Third, that person will be asking you to write your mobile number. And fourth, that person may or may not ask you to call to that person whom that check belongs. Now, there is a specific SOP that is given to a bank person. What is that SOP? That whenever a check is coming for cashing, then for that particular process, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps that you have to follow. Now, there is a change in scenario. What is that change? A person is not having the ID card. who is going for the withdrawal. Now what is going to happen? That check will not be disbursed. That person will not be able to get the amount. Why that person will not be able to get the amount? Because there is a specific SOP that is to be followed by the bank person. Now, if there is any change in that SOP or the process in which that person is sitting or in which the process comes, there will be a halt in the process. Same, we talk about rule-based detection. There are certain rules, predefined rules that is stored in the system. Now, when all those rules are stored in the system and any transaction is executed, at the time of initiation of that particular transaction, if there is any alteration in the process, alteration in the transaction, or any 5%, 10% deviation in the process, then that particular transaction will be halted. That will be stopped. That is one of the limitation. Second, manual audit. When we are going to the bank with that particular check, what that bank person is going to do? That person will be writing a number on that check. That person will be opening the account of that check holder. That person will be checking the details. Then that person will be taking out the mobile number. And from that mobile number, he will be calling to that person that, yes, I have received one check that belongs to you. There is a person standing in front of me and that person is requesting for the so amount. Should I do that? Now, what is that? That is the manual audit that bank person is doing. You are in an urgency. You need the amount. You are visiting the bank. There is a long queue, first of all, that you have to wait. Then when your turn comes, that person start this manual audit. Now, what is going to happen? That is going to make a delay in the entire process. So similarly, when we talk about the traditional security, so one of the limitation is manual audit. If the audit is done manually, then it is going to take a long time, and the purpose that we are trying to achieve, that things should be done in a fraction of seconds, that is going to be delayed. Now, third limitation is delayed response. Again, coming back to the same example, when the person is calling to the check holder, that person is not responding to the call. One time tried, two times tried, three times tried, four times tried. Now, after fifth time, that bank person is saying, either you can call him and you can ask him that I am calling him, just ask him to pick up my call so that I can confirm, otherwise you have to wait. Now, what happened? My purpose was to get the amount in next 1 hour. But this entire process halted my entire transaction, wasted my 2 hours where I was expecting my amount to be in my hands, my cash in my hands in 1 hour. That took 2 hours. And after 2 hours, I'm still not having my amount. So this was the third limitation, that was delayed response. Now, the same thing that we talked about with the help of example, rule-based detection, user predefined criteria. So there is a predefined criteria, like the check holder says, like whenever you are getting a check, you can do a transaction of maximum 1 lakh rupees in a day from my account. So that is somehow a rule-based detection. But now in blockchain, how this is done, how these rule-based detection is done, we are having the user predefined criteria, like suspicious keyword. What all are the suspicious keywords? The IP addresses or the transaction threshold. Transaction threshold is the same that I'm talking about, that in a day only 1 lakh rupees can be transacted in day-to-day life, to identify malicious activities. Now, second, the manual audit that we talk about. Same manual audit in blockchain involve skilled human expert deeply examining the code, architecture, and logic, complementing automated tools to find complex vulnerabilities. Same thing, that the example that we had in the bank, that person will be auditing the bank details, the ID card that you are going to provide, your name, mobile number, and everything. Next is delayed response, the time between the initiating a transaction or query. So ultimate purpose of using blockchain is, can anyone type in the chat window? Is to reduce the time. The transaction that I am going to perform should be done within fraction of seconds. So the time between initiating a transaction or query and its final confirmation or output. This is common challenge, especially in public blockchain like Bitcoin or Ethereum, impacting user experience and application performance. So I hope these three limitations are clear to us. If yes, give me a thumbs up, please, so that we can proceed further. Thank you. Okay, so again I am asking, is the session boring? If yes, give me a thumbs up. Is the session boring? Yes, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay. If no, then give me a heart. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now, we talked about blockchain, we talked about security, we talked about cyber security, we talked about blockchain fundamentals, we talked about traditional security. Now there is something new in this slide that you can see, that is introduction to artificial intelligence in cyber security. AI is not a new term. Cyber security is again not a new term. Now, how this AI in cybersecurity is going to help us? First is pattern recognition, second is anomaly detection, third is predictive intelligence. How many of us are using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, or any other tool? Give me a thumbs up, please. Any of the tool we are using. Okay, most of us or all of us? All of us are using. Okay. Let me tell you something. When we execute one Google query, it takes 0.3 gram of carbon emission. When we execute one ChatGPT query, one ChatGPT query is equivalent to 10 Google queries. And if I am repeating this statement, one Google query, whenever you are searching anything on Google, it emits 0.3 gram of carbon. Now, one ChatGPT query is equivalent to 10 Google queries. How much carbon is emitted in one ChatGPT query? Should I repeat the question? Should I repeat the question, please? No? This is the one of the question from Kaun Banega Crorepati. If one ChatGPT, no, one ChatGPT query is equivalent to 10 Google search. One Google search is taking 0.3 gram of carbon emission. How much one ChatGPT query is emitting? Okay, Shubhi Verma ji, what is this 3? Kilogram, gram, grams. Yes, bingo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got the answer. So 3 gram of carbon is emitted while executing one query using the ChatGPT. Thank you. Okay. So again, coming back, what was the purpose of asking this question? Just to check that we all are awake or not. So when we talk about artificial intelligence in cybersecurity, we all will agree that somehow the work that we were doing earlier, this AI as introduced in our life, it is making our life easier in some way or the other. Like when we want to detect any loopholes in the code, most of the coding professionals are using artificial intelligence in analyzing their code. Why they are doing that? If they are going to do manually, it is going to take much time as comparison to the integrated system. Second, all these 3 pointers: rule-based detection, manual audits, delayed response. When we talk about pattern recognition, so when we want to recognize a pattern, it is easier for a person to make an algorithm for that, and using that algorithm, feeding that particular algorithm to a system or a particular software or a particular executable link, it would be easier to recognize the pattern. That is the first thing. Second, when we are talking about the manual audits, somehow that while doing the manual audit, person may or may not miss one or two important pointers. So for that particular detection, if we are using artificial intelligence with specific code, it is going to help me in detecting all my anomalies. Next, predictive intelligence. I know last 3 years there was a similar type of attack that was done on a university server. If I want to examine what all are the loopholes, what all are the weak points in the entire architecture of a college system, what I'm going to do? First, I need to analyze the entire system. Second, I need to analyze and observe the current functioning that is happening on that particular server. Fourth, I need to check how and when the attacks were performed. So these 3 are the important things that I'm going to do. And if I'm going to do all three tasks manually, it is going to take much more time that I can expect. So all the 3 things I can do with the help of artificial intelligence. One of the work is going to be pattern recognition. Second can be the anomaly detection. And third is going to be the predictive intelligence that will be helping me in examining that what all attacks can be performed in coming future based on the existing system performance. Now, when we talk about artificial intelligence in cybersecurity, the same thing that we talk about, the detection part, the prediction part, the adaptation part, the automation part, and the response part. These 5 parts I'll be able to cover with the help of artificial intelligence. Now, what all techniques artificial intelligence is using? Machine learning, deep learning, graph neural networks, and behavioral analysis. Now, next question. Have we heard these first, second, and third term? Machine learning, deep learning, and graph neural networks? You can write in the chat window. Okay, just give me a thumbs up if we have heard these 3 terms: machine learning, deep learning, and graph neural networks. Okay, thank you. Now, can anyone help me with the understanding of this term, behavioral analytics? What is that? As the name of the program is faculty development program, it means most of us would be the faculties belonging to different universities, colleges, and having expertise on different subjects. So based on that, just help me in understanding what is this behavioral analytics in 2 or 3 words. Model analysis. Okay. What is that behavioral analysis? Anything else from this model analysis? Yes. No. No. Okay. I got the answer. Actions and patterns of the user. Okay. Dr. Ashish Kumar Sharma ji. Uh, Analysis and then prediction are done on the base of it. Okay. Prediction. Okay. So, models representing analysis. Okay. In layman terms, what exactly this behavioral analytics or behavioral analysis? How I can define this behavioral analysis? Data pre-processing. Okay. Okay. No problem. Without wasting time, I am coming analyzing data about some action. Okay. Vatsala Patel. Okay. So, behavioral analysis, training the model with prediction. Okay. I got it. Thank you for the responses. Basically, behavioral response behavioral analytics is the same that Dr. Ashish mentioned, action and pattern of the users. Behavioral analytics means just to analyze the behavior of the system. Now, what all things can be there in that particular system? That may be the transactions, that may be the actions, that may be the what I would say, the nodes, that may be the queries, that may be the algorithms, that may be anything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to analyze how this system is working currently, so that if in case anything happens to my system, it would be easier for me in differentiating that initially how my system was performing and now after any unfavorable situation, how my system is performing. So it is going to help me in the analysis phase. Okay. Now AI for smart contract security. How artificial intelligence can help me in smart contract security. So this was one of the fundamentals, one of the benefit, one of the important part that we were having while talking about the blockchain. And at the same time, this was one of the weakest part as well. Because I personally feel that if a particular operation, if a particular feature of a product is giving the strength to that particular product, then at the same time that particular feature will be the weakest part of that particular product. If it is providing the strength, then at the same time this will be the main reason of the weakness. So when we talk about artificial intelligence for smart contract security, so it means the automated code analysis that is going to help me in analyzing my code. Again, artificial intelligence is going to help me. Next, most important thing is runtime monitoring of my system. So if a transaction is taking 0.05 seconds, if another transaction is taking 0.07 seconds, another transaction is taking 0.0 say 8 seconds. Now if a new transaction comes and that transaction is taking 0.10 seconds, it means this is somehow going to raise a flag that says that boss, there is something fishy in the entire process. So for that purpose, AI is going to help in monitoring the runtime as well. Next most important thing is vulnerability detection. What is this vulnerability detection? I was having the 5 blocks. If I pick block number 3, then that pick of that block number 3 is going to be detected with the help of AI. Okay, now AI for fraud and transaction monitoring. Again, the suspicious transaction, if there is any suspicious transaction that is detected, then in that case AI will be helping in detection of a suspicious transaction. And AML compliance. Initially, when Notbandi was there, after that Notbandi, people start doing this AML activity using the Bitcoin cryptos. What is this AML? Can anyone help me with the full form of AML, please? I got one answer. Bingo. Anti-money laundering. So money laundering people started doing with this. So anti-money laundering compliance can be implemented helping with the help of artificial intelligence and mixer identification. Next, artificial intelligence for wallet and identity protection. So behavioral biometrics, again, the same thing that we talked earlier. Next, device fingerprinting and phishing detection. These three activities can also be performed and can be helpful if we are going to use artificial intelligence. So somehow it is going to provide a different layer of security to the entire process and the transaction. Now, this is something important when we talk about finances, financial transaction. So DeFi is very important thing. Have you heard this term DeFi, DEFI, decentralized finance? Yes, we have heard this. Okay, so basically financial services, especially in the financial services domain, this DeFi is used. This DeFi is using blockchain technology to provide the security. Now, how this DeFi is helping us, as you can see on the screen, there is a text that says DeFi let you access global financial services, track transparent transactions, control your assets securely, and move funds across platform. Again, I am having one question, but as we are running short of time for this session, so I'll be covering up this part, then we'll be taking the questions. When we talk about decentralized finances, so basically DeFi is using blockchain technology. Any transaction that we are doing on the global level, so all global financial services will be accessed with the help of DeFi. Now there is a case study. In this case study, instead of mentioning one case study in detail, I have mentioned 3-4 case studies that has happened since 2022 to 25. And if I talk about the percentage, initially it was about 16%. I'm not 100% confident with this 16% number, but that was about 16%, and that till 22 or 23 that was raised to 27%. And recently in last 2 or 3 years, now that is hiked to 36% around. So Ronnie network hack that happened in 2022, over 600 million was lost. How that was lost? Due to compromise in private keys. Next, wormhole bridge hack, one of the events that happened where $320 billion were stolen. How that was stolen? By exploiting signature verification vulnerability. The very recent one, multiple incidents. Major event was with $100 million due to faulty smart contract check, a company lost $100 million. In these three examples, in these three cases, very first case, how that exploitation was done, private key was compromised. Private key is something that will be making a transaction secured, but private key was compromised. Second, whenever you are doing any transaction, for that particular transaction, signature validation verification will be required, and the system is doing both the things. But how that $320 million was stolen? Stolen because of the signature verification vulnerability. Third, from second slide, we are continuously talking about smart contract. Smart contract. Smart contract is helping all the processes in making a secure transaction without any intermediary. It means there will be no permission required. There will be no specific step-by-step process required. Once a process is initiated, it will be either yes or no. It will be either successful or unsuccessful. Third, 100 million stolen due to faulty smart contract check. It means something was done to the automated executable code. After studying these case studies, how the crux that you can see on the screen, AI flagged abnormal contract calls, attack can be stopped early, and loss can be prevented if we are going to use artificial intelligence with the current system. Now, exchange fraud detection, again, the same scenario that I discussed, that initially people were asking me to invest, and that after some time they said like, my account is freezed, please help me in getting my account unfreezed. So AI detected abnormal withdrawals, account freezed, and incident contained. Okay. Challenges of AI in blockchain security. What all are the challenges? All the benefits, all the plus points that blockchain is having, all can be the weakness for the blockchain security. Here you can see false positives, explainability, adversarial AI, and ethical issues. When we talk about ethical issues, we talked about n number of things. We are continuously talking about transactions. We are continuously talking about nodes. We are talking about cybersecurity. We are talking about blockchain. We are talking about artificial intelligence. But at the same time, we are missing one important thing. What is that? That is, when we are living in a system, that system is governed by some protocols. Or in other words, I can say there is a legal framework that is designed for all of us so that we can live in that particular atmosphere, in that particular environment, or in that particular system. So similarly, here also we have legal frameworks that help us in making all those transactions easier without any problem or challenges while using any of the services in the digital space. But again, there is a challenge. What that challenge is, all the rules and regulations that we have, all the laws we have, are all those laws and rules belong to us, or we have adopted some laws and rules from other countries? So this is the question that I am leaving to all the people who are in this call. But at the same time, the regularity perspective, if I talk about in India, so you can see SEBI, I hope we all have heard, RBI we all have heard, certain we all have heard. Certain and SEBI, these two bodies are providing most of the advisories for all the people who are dealing in, especially dealing with crypto, especially dealing with Bitcoin, especially dealing with anything related to the transaction on the global level. And recently we got DPDP Act as well. In 2023 we got this DPDP Act, but now in most probably in Feb it will be implemented with full-fledged features. So these are the regulatory perspectives in India that we have. All the rules and regulations related to the financial transactions, related to any sort of transaction, are taken care by RBI and SEBI. Financial, especially for the financial one. Anything related to the digital space as well as finances in the digital space, or specifically the digital platforms, that is taken by certain. Now, few slides back we were talking about DeFi. So these are the research opportunities that we can start working upon. Secure DeFi is something that I, along with my two interns, is working upon. Secure DeFi, we are doing some research. And explainable AI. Why explainable AI? Because initially AI is limited to the knowledge that people are having. If they think like, okay, AI can help me in writing code to design a website, then that is limited to that particular part only. We have to move out of the box, especially while talking about the artificial intelligence, what all opportunities we can have with artificial intelligence, where all this artificial intelligence can be applied. Because when we talk about demolishing a bridge, it would be a task of say 20 second or 30 second. But when we talk about building a bridge, then it is going to take maybe months, maybe years. So again, building anything would be a difficult thing. Taking out something positive from the AI perspective would be something that is required in coming couple of years. And what all can be the consequences of misusing AI, we all are seeing in our daily life. So if we talk about the takeaways, then blockchain, yes, blockchain needs artificial intelligence driven security, and future is
Tushar sir,
yes,
Tushar sir, extremely sorry I'm interrupting in between. You have been explaining things for so long. Would you like to take break for 10 minutes or
that
5
that,
minutes,
that
I think?
I already got when you unmuted. So yes, I'm done with one part, and we can take a break for say 8-10 minutes,
5
and then
minutes.
again we can start.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you so much for sharing this. This session is really enriching, and we are looking forward for your next session. So, all the participants, let's have a break of 5 to 10 minutes. We'll get back to you. Stay connected. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. And for the time being, it would be great for me to get the understanding if I am able to do the justice with the topic that I was having earlier. If yes, or if anything to be added, it would be my pleasure if you can just open the chat window and take out 30 seconds and you can write there so that I can include that particular part in my next presentation. Thank you.
So, it's to all the participants. Please write in the chat box your feedback as has requested you all, and we'll get back to you it within 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you so much. Dear participants, we are working on the attendance, and please by tomorrow check your previous day's attendance so that if any kind of issue is with the attendance, we can resolve it timely. And within a few minutes, we are starting the second session. Tushar sir, if you are available, we can start the session. If anyone has a query, they can raise their hand and we can discuss your issue.
I am ready, ma'am. We can start.
Okay, sir. Please, sir. Shriram sir, please message me. I'll respond to it. Let sir start the session. Tushar sir, please go ahead.
Sure, ma'am. So, okay, so welcome back. Am I audible? If yes, give me a thumbs up, please.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, you're audible. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Uh, Okay, so now we are going to talk about blockchain for secure identity management. In the last session, we talked about artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, blockchain, and we tried to dive deeper in the concepts of blockchain. Now, one thing is common from the previous session that we had, that is blockchain. There is a new thing that is included in this session, that is identity management. Now, in this entire session, what we are going to cover, we will be talking about the identity challenges, how blockchain can help us in providing the solutions, what all are the research gaps that most of the time we feel we face, and we are going to talk about the policy implications. Before moving forward, UIDAI, I am repeating UIDAI. How many of us have heard this UIDAI? Just raise your hand. You can just give me a thumbs up. UIDAI. There is a term UIDAI. How many of us have heard this? Okay, I got only 2, 3 thumbs up. Okay. How many of us have heard this Aadhaar? Aadhaar card, Aadhaar system. How many of us have heard that? Okay, I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, ठीक Thank you. It means we have heard this Aadhaar and all. So somehow this entire session will be moving around these systems like Aadhaar system, or 4, 5 years back we had COVID. So there was a vaccination that was given to all the citizens, co-vaccine, and we have DPDP Act. So something we'll be talking about this. Now, before starting the blockchain for identity management, first let's try to understand what exactly this identity management is. First, we are going to talk about the identity management. With this identity management, there is one more term that is associated. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay. So one more term is associated in our day-to-day life. What we use is identity and access management. So the short term is either IAM or IDAM, identity and access management. What exactly this identity and access management is? So basically, management is the word that we all can see. So basically, this identity and access management is, can say, it's a framework of the policies and the technologies. What sort of policies and technologies? These are the policies and technologies that are helping the enterprises and the common people in accessing the technological sources or in accessing the technology. Whatever the technology we are having, with the help of identity and access management, we can access that. Most of the time, AWS and Azure services people are using. So with this Azure and AWS services, AWS is providing a good service as comparison to Azure, as per the feedback from most of the enterprises. And identity and access management is also helping in improving the productivity as well. Now, what is identity? The very first question of this session, what is identity? Yes, what is identity? Uh, no, no, no problem.
Identity management is basically my personal identity on network, like my email IDs or my account number, my digital identity on the network.
Great, thank you, ma'am. Digital identity, any example, ma'am, if you can help me with any example.
My email ID or my Facebook ID, Insta ID.
Any other, if we all are connected in this call, anything from here, if you can take an example.
Again, the ID which I have used to connect with this connect in this meeting.
Yes. Bingo. I got this unique identification. Yes. Password or mail ID. Yes. We can say identity management is something that is providing you a unique name or unique number that is not common for all the systems or the nodes that are associated in a system. So when we talk about the identity management in, especially in blockchain, so blockchain based identity management system helps in securing and digitalization and helping the user in controlling their digital identities. For example, when we talk about blockchain fundamentals, we talked about 5 things. Can anyone type in the chat window what were the 5 things? Easier. The 3 things that we talk about, as you can see on your screen, distributed ledger is, it means that was decentralization, consensus mechanism, and immutability. These 3 things that we already discussed in the blockchain fundamentals. Now, when we talk about the identity management, so the biggest challenges that we have is, first and foremost thing is centralization risk. Second is the identity theft. Third is the data breaches. Now talking one by one, let's start with the data breaches. How many times we have heard that the data of the customers of say HDFC Life or health insurance or Star Health Insurance was leaked. Have anyone heard this? There was a data breach with the Star Health Insurance. I'm taking the name because these are the news that were very trending, like Star Health. There was a breach at Star Health. There was a breach at HDFC. There was a breach with the SBI data. The details of the customers are online. These are the data breaches. What about the identity theft? What is identity theft? Identity theft is something if a person is having, I'm taking a layman example. If a person is having a display picture on WhatsApp and if that display picture is visible to all the people, contacts and non-contacts, and if I am one of the non-contacts, and if I can take the screenshot of that display picture and I can upload the same picture to a new WhatsApp to a virtual number and I can start requesting people asking for the money. So what happened? A person was having an identity. What I did, I theft that identity and then I started using that particular identity with some I have some okay. Okay, so I started using that identity with a negative intention. Next is centralized risk. Recently, there was a breach happened. Um, just I'm just writing. I'll be telling you which company it was handling, and that because of that breach, the entire contract was taken back. That was dissolved. The contract was dissolved. That was some company situated in US, and the company which was handling the data was based out in India. I'm not able to recall. I'll be telling you the name. The entire data of the customer was taken care by a company based out in India. That particular company who was handling the data, that company didn't get a single information regarding the breach, but the owner company got the information that their data is breached and their customer data is available on the dark web. At the same time, that company closed that contract and take all the excesses from the data server company, and there was a fine also that was imposed on that particular company. I'm not able to recall, but I'll be sharing the name. So what was that? That was basically the duty of a company that was maintaining the identity, critical identity of the users, but because of the centralization, that data was breached. First scenario. Second scenario, the identities were theft. Third, the data breaches were done. So to control all these things, somehow blockchain help in maintaining and managing the identity management. How that blockchain is going to help? So blockchain based identity management will be enabling, say, secure, decentralized, and immutable and consensus mechanism for all the data that a particular person is having. Okay, so we got it. Blockchain will be helping us. Blockchain will be enabling secure and decentralized and user controlled data identities. But how? There are two things, not two things, there are three things that will be helping in this decentralization and this identity management system. First is decentralized identifiers. Decentralized identifier short form is DIDS, DIDS, and VCs. verifiable credentials that we'll be talking in later slides. So again, coming back to the traditional identity system, what all there is any hit on the main server, the entire system is going to corrupt, or there will be a misbehave from the entire system. Second, low user control. Third, privacy violations. Now this we already discussed. Now when we talk about the blockchain architecture, we talk about blocks and hashes, peer-to-peer nodes, and distributed verification. Now what is that blocks and hashes? What is that peer-to-peer nodes, and what is the distributed verifications? Now if you can see on the screen, basically here you can see the blockchain architecture, centralized and decentralized. Now what's the difference between centralized and decentralized? If anyone can write in the chat window. No? Okay. So if you are available in this call, just give me a thumbs up, please. Okay, thank you. Thank God. Okay. Okay. So when we are going to talk about the architecture, we are going to define it in three or four different ways. First is centralized, second is decentralized. When we talk about centralized, the same thing that we discussed in the last session. Decentralized means, again, the things are not centralized on a single point. One more thing, that the beauty of blockchain is distributed ledger. If you can see, there are two diagrams. If you can see, one is public and one is private. When we talk about public, it means users are anonymous. And when we talk about private, it means users are not anonymous. Means when we talk about a Zoom call, whenever we are connecting via Zoom call, you can connect without, if you can connect without entering the password and your credential, it means somehow you are going to be in the public network. But when you talk about the private one, so private one is the same Teams call that we all are in. Somehow you all have registered yourself with your name and all the identities, your device ID, your IP, that can be taken out with the help of this particular call link. Third thing, all the members present in this call, they can access the link because this link was shared in a group, in a closed group in which we all are present. If a person is from outside, then that person may or may not join this call. Now, database and blockchain architecture, what's the difference? Here we have two different architectures. These architectures are, first is client server and second one is P2P, means peer-to-peer network. When we talk about distributed network of a blockchain architecture, all the participant in a distributed network or within a same network will all maintain, they all will approve, and they all will update new entries. Taking an example, we all have worked on Google Docs. Yes or no? Yes, give me a thumbs up, please. Google Docs, we all have worked. Okay. So with that Google Doc, if I want to share that Google Doc with one of my colleague, Is it possible that at the same time we both can work on the same document? Yes or no? If yes, give me a thumbs up. If no, that's completely fine. Yes. So we both can start working on the same document at the same time. So similarly, when we talk about distributed network of a blockchain architecture, all the participants within a network, they can work, they can update new entries, and this entire document is not in the control of a third person. That will be controlled by the 2 people or 3 people who all are having the access of that particular document. So similarly, as you can see on the screen, when we talk about P2P network, whatever the transactions are happening, all those transactions will be happening within the system, within the P2P network. And all transactions will be under control of all the systems those are associated in a P2P network. Again, it depends on the accesses that is provided to all the nodes in the P2P system. If a node is having only read access, then only read function will be available. If all accesses are provided, then all systems, all nodes can read all the transactions and they can start working in all possible manner that the owner is doing. Now, when we talk about decentralized identifiers, we talked about 2-3 things when we were talking about identity management. So basically identity management, in identity management, blockchain based identity management especially enables us in securing and decentralizing the user control. Whatever the digital identities a user is having, so with the help of DIDs and VCs, all the IDs can be managed, can be secured with a decentralized manner with the help of DIDs and VCs. Now, what exactly this DID is? Decentralized identifiers are self-owned, globally unique digital identifiers that allow individuals and organizations to control their own digital identity without relying on central authorities like governments or companies, forming the basis for self-sovereign identity. What is that self-sovereign identity? That we'll be discussing in next few slides. Again, one big question. What is this decentralized identifier? Identifier we all know. That is, identifier is something that will be helping in identifying something. Now, this decentralized identifier are self-owned, and when we say self-owned, it means just give me a minute. Okay, so when we talk about decentralized identifiers, it means they are stand-alone unique identifiers, and whenever someone wants to make any validation, any company or government identification will not be required. Initially, with whatever the details they are having, they can simply identify that and they can simply mark that the document is authentic. Okay. Now, what is this SSI? So when we talk about this SSI have 3 important members, I would say. One is the issuer, second is the holder, and third is the verifier. When any transaction is done, that transaction will be performed with the help of these three important entities. Here you can see. So here this is the holder. What are the three entities? Issuer, holder, and verifier. Now this is the holder, this body is the issuer, and this body is the verifier. I'm not sure whether this is clearly visible to you or not. These systems are in a decentralized trust network. When we talk about DIDs, it means decentralized identifier. What this definition says, that these are the globally unique digital identifier that allow individual and organization to control their own digital identity without relying on central authority. Now talking about this image, this is the holder. That person is having M-Aadhaar with him. M-Aadhaar provides you a facility if you have if you have installed that M-Aadhaar app in your mobile phone. You can open that, and wherever Aadhaar card is required, you can show that particular app, and in that particular app your Aadhaar card will be there, and with the help of that Aadhaar card you can verify your identity. Now how that process is executed? This issuer issues a verifiable credentials. These verifiable credentials are issued by the issuer to the holder, and this entire verification is done with the help of this decentralized trust network. So if you have used M-Aadhaar app, or if you have used DigiLocker, so for all these applications, whenever you are logging in, at the time of login, there may be a possibility that application may ask you for the OTP. But if you are not activated that security measure, then without that OTP, you can simply open the application, and with that application, you can access your documents wherever you want to access. How you are able to access all those documents? The very first step was you only uploaded your documents on the DigiLocker. Second, you only entered your details, your date of birth, or can say your Aadhaar number. On that basis, your details were captured, and now wherever and whenever you want to access, all the details can be accessed using your DigiLocker application. Now, whenever issuer is verifying your credentials, being a holder, you will be able to access your documents. Now this issuer, what exactly this issuer is doing? This issuer is verifying your credentials. It means credential issuance is done by the issuer. From where it is getting verified? It is getting verified from the decentralized trust network. And at the same time, issuer and decentralized trust network, these two are the important parts. This holder is accessing the document that is issued by the issuer. Now checker and maker concept is here. This verifier is going to verify that whether these credentials are true or not. Now this is a three-way process. At one part, just a minute. Okay, so at one part, this holder is coordinating to this issuer, and also coordinating to this verifier, and also coordinating to the decentralized trust network. Now the entire verification is done by this DTN, decentralized trust network. at the same time. When the credentials are verified, when the proof of credentials are shared at the same time, the issuer and the verifier, they are also checking to the decentralized trust network that, sir, this is the holder. This holder is asking for some documents. He or she has shared some documents with us. Just verify that are these documents correct or not. This is done by verifier and issuer as well. So first this DID is done to the decentralized trust network, then getting the verification. Then again from here this DID request is sent by the verifier, and based on that this verification is done. This issuer is getting verification from two parts. This holder is getting verification from two parts, and this issuer is also getting verification from two parts. Credential issuance is done. Now, how come this decentralized trust network is able to validate and verify that the documents are correct? So that entire process is done on the wallet storage. Documents are kept at a place. Say this is a place. 1, 2, 3 documents are kept here. Now, this holder wants to access document number 2. Now, if this person wants to access this document, because this holder has uploaded the documents here, he or she can access from here. But at the same time, this wallet is also associated to the issuer, and this wallet is also associated to the verifier. And with the help of this issuer and verifier, this holder will be able to access the document and verify the document. Now, instead of keeping all these documents at a centralized server, these documents are stored on the wallet storage. And with the help of wallet storage, issuer will be able to help, verifier will be able to help, and holder will be able to access the documents. And that wallet storage is the decentralized trust network. Is it fine? Yes. Then give me a heart. If no, give me a thumbs up. Am I audible? Oh, I got it. Thank you. Oh, if this is not clear, it means I got one thumbs up. It means two thumbs up. It means it is not clear. Okay. Okay. No problem. I'll be taking the questions. I'll be taking this in the questions. Okay. Now, again, coming back to the discussion that we had in the last session, the role of the smart contracts. What was the role of the smart contract? What exactly was the smart contract? Smart contract was the automated executable codes that we were having. So automated verification will be done with the help of these smart contracts. Access control will be taken care by the smart contracts. How smart contract will be taking care of the access control? With the help of the hash values. And policy enforcement also will be taken care by the smart contracts. When we talk about the identity and identity management, and along with the identity management, we talk about blockchain based identity management. It means somehow we are talking about securing decentralization, user controlled digital identities. And when we talk about user controlled digital identities, it means something will be related to the privacy of that particular identity. Now, talking about the privacy preserving identity, Very first thing is zero knowledge proofs. Second is minimal disclosure. Third is consent based sharing. Again, coming back to this example. Now, if I want to access one document from the centralized server, how I can do that? Yes, how I can do that? If anyone can write in the chat window. I want to access something. How is it possible that instead of showing all my documents, I can access the required document? Acha, first question. Is it possible to access only one document out of 100 documents? Yes or no? If yes, give me a thumbs up, please. Okay. How I can do that? How I can do that? Someone is typing in the chat window. How I can do that? If I want to take out only one document out of 100 documents, how I can do that? So the purpose of asking this question is, when we talk about privacy preserving identity, so basically short form is PPI. Basically, what exactly this PPI is, it may be a system or it may be a technique that will be helping users to prove who they are, or that will be helping a user in providing a specific identity feature without revealing the all the details. For example, all of us have applied for the passport. So while applying for the passport, proof of address is required, proof of date of birth is required, and one photo ID proof is required. So these are the three minimum documents that is required. Now, for the date of birth proof, you can use your 10th mark sheet or 10th passing certificate. You can use your birth certificate, or you can use your bank statement. Date of birth, there are some banks, they are providing the date of birth and all the details in the certified manner. So somehow that is acceptable document. When we talk about the address proof, you can share the rent agreement, you can share the electricity bill, you can share the telephone bill, you can share the LPG connection if you have. You can do that. For the photo identity proof, you can share your Aadhaar card, you can share your driving license, you can share your PAN card, and you can share any identity card that is issued by the central government or registered society as well, registered organization as well. Now, we have a list of around 15 documents. Out of 15 documents, 7-8 documents I just now discussed. Now, suggest me something. If someone is asking for my address proof, my date of birth proof, and my photo identity, should I share 3 different documents or should I share only one document? If you want to share 3 documents, give me a thumbs up. If you think One document will serve the purpose. Give me a heart. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. So what exactly that one document is? That one document is my Aadhaar card. And when I am sharing my Aadhaar card, it means that Aadhaar card is my privacy preserving identity. How is that privacy preserving identity? That Aadhaar card letting me improving my identity with the help of only one document without revealing the excessive personal information. Means from which school I have passed my 10th or 12th. If I'm going to share my 10th or 12th certificate, then these two details will be revealed. My roll number will be revealed. Next, if I'm going to share my PAN card, then my PAN number will be revealed. If I'm going to share my rent agreement, then the details of my rent agreement will be revealed. So, considering all these things, when I came to a conclusion, and that conclusion says that I'll be using only one document that will be proving my identity, and with that particular identity, minimal disclosure of my information will be there. And when I'm sharing my Aadhaar card, it means at the same time I'm using my biometric as well, that this Aadhaar card belongs to me. So it means I'm not sharing my entire excessive personal data. I am disclosing minimal information, and when I am sharing my Aadhaar card, it means with the thumb impression I am giving my consent that yes, I am sharing my Aadhaar card. So instead of sharing 8, 10 documents, I am sharing only one document. It means minimal document disclosure I did. Second, I also gave my consent based on the document that yes, I am sharing this particular document for proving that this is my identity attribute and this belongs to me. Yes, no? Now, talking about the security analysis. Sybil attacks, I'm not sure how many of us have heard this, but the people who are working in the blockchain system, they would be they are used to of this Sybil attack. What exactly this Sybil attack is? So basically, so this is a security threat where one attacker creates numerous fake identities, and those fake identities are known as Sybil identities. Why that one attacker is creating numerous identities? Just to gain disproportionate influence in a network. At the same time, how many of us have experienced a situation when in 5 or 7 minutes we got 10, 20 OTPs? Has anyone experienced this? Or 10, 20 SMSs we started getting. These are some tricks that attackers use. What they do, there are certain tools, OSINT tools. Whenever they enter a mobile number to that particular tool, just to check on what all applications this particular user is using, they used to enter the mobile number on that particular tool, and when they hit enter, a query is executed. That what exactly that query does, whatever the applications you have used in the past, all application OTPs you will start getting. If for example there are 30 applications that you have used in last 2 year or 3 year or 5 years, and if that particular tool is having the connectivity with and the query is executed based on all those 30 applications, then it will be checking in the list that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 25, 29, 30. These are the applications, and the OTP will be sent based on that. And once you will be getting the OTP, and when the OTP is delivered, then the attacker will be getting the confirmation that yes, this person have either using this application or have used this application in the past. So most of the time attackers create fake identities, and these fake identities are known as Sybil identities. Why they are creating? To do the spams, to do the frauds, or sometimes they manipulate the consensus. Where they are going to manipulate the consensus? In the P2P networks or the blockchain systems. How they are doing that? The people who are coming from corporate, they must have heard, and we all, I hope that we all have also heard that there was a employee in the company. That employee got an email, that person clicked on that email, and their entire system got hacked, their entire system got encrypted. So how these type of situations occur, how these type of attack occur? Somehow all those systems are connected in a P2P network. Again, coming to the first session and the example that I had in the starting, if I am having a centralized structure, and in that particular centralized structure, if I want to enter into any system, then how I will be able to do that? So the simple answer was just hit on the server part. Now, when we talk about P2P, when the systems are connected peer-to-peer mode, if I'm going to enter in any one system, then I can access the entire system. Why? Because of this. If I am able to access this system, if I am able to access this system, then automatically I'll be able to access all these systems. So all system can be accessed accordingly. Mostly attackers try to find the weakest link to enter in any network, and once they are in the network, they start exploiting that network. Next, key compromise. What is that key compromise? Whenever we are doing any transaction, whenever we are talking about the blockchain, we talk about two type of keys. What all? One is public key and one is private key. Public key may be available to all, but private key will be individual to the person who is using that particular key. In the last session, in the case study, we discussed that in one of the cases, the private key was compromised. Now, again, that is one of the reasons while analyzing the security, it was concluded that keys can be compromised. Next is smart contract risk. Again, for the fourth time, this is coming, smart contract risks. What is that? What is that smart contract risk? If anyone can write in the chat window, please. Okay, are you guys with me? Yes, give me a thumbs up, please. Thank you. I'm not sure whether during means in last 4 days anyone has asked you to give so much thumbs up and hearts, but thank you for the active participation. Now, when we talk about the Indian policy perspective, Digital India is something. Okay, so one question: since when we are using this term Digital India? You can write in the chat window, please. Since when we are listening this term Digital India? You can write in the chat window, please. Digital India. Now we are in the Digital India. In which year? Okay, you can write in the chat window. I'll see once I'll be closing the session. Next is Aadhaar debates, and next is DPDP Act. Most of the technology related laws, policies, frameworks have been introduced from Digital India to DPDP Act. Digital India 2015. Are you sure? Okay. Aadhaar debates, DPDP Act. So as we are moving to the advancement in the technology, at the same time, parallelly, hand in hand, the policies that India is having, we are also making changes. We are modifying the policies. When we talk about the global policy perspective, you can see on the screen, first is European Union EIDAS. And what is that? Electronic identification, authentication, and trust services. So basically, this is the EU regulation with the stated purpose of governing electronic identification and trust service for electronic transactions. Whatever the electronic transactions are happening at the global level, EU EIDAS is regulating that. Similarly, when we talk about the insurance in India, so there is a body that is governing all the insurance companies, that is regulating all the insurance companies. When we talk about the banks, so there is a body that is regulating all the banks. Which is the body that is regulating all the banks? The governing body that is regulating all the banks. Just write in the chat window, please. This is going to be the last 3 or 4 questions that I'm asking. After this, we'll be closing and then we'll be taking the questions. The governing body that is regulating all the banks. No? RBI. The regulating body that is regulating, yes, Dr. Yogini V. Prabhu, yes, you're right, RBI. Okay, the regulating body that is regulating all the insurance companies. That is IRDAI. IRDAI. So similarly, for artificial intelligence, European Union has already have an act with the name EU AI Act. And for electronic transactions, this is EU EIDAS. And this is the regulation for electronic identification, authentication, and trust services. All the electronic identification and trust services for the electronic transaction is regulated by EU EIDAS. It was passed in 2014 and its provisions came into effect between 2016 and 2018. This is at the global level. When we say it is at the global level, it means all the countries associated with it have to follow the regulations, the guidelines that is provided by the respected body. Now, apart from that, OECD principles are also there. What exactly this OECD principles? So these are the guidelines for sound governance and policy. Basically, they are focusing on corporate governance. How they are focusing on the corporate governance? They are promoting investor protection, market integrity, and sustainability via stakeholders' right, board responsibilities, transparency, stakeholders, by all these things. Let's take an example. If a person is investing some amount outside India and that person belongs to India, there are some guidelines where US is making a person more regulated, more supported in terms of the guidelines and regulations. But at the same time, in India, we are not promoting that, or we are not concerned about the guidelines that US is following. Then in all those scenarios, if any mishappening happens in India with that particular investor who is investing in US, in that case, there may be a possibility that in India that person will not get the support. There may be a possibility that US may say that as you are not the part of this country, you will not get the support. For all those challenges, for all those concerns, these global perspective came into picture. This OECD principle is going to help in providing a governance, in providing the guidelines, in providing the regulations that what can be done and what should not be done. So as you can see in the definition, it is clearly written. Major set focuses on corporate governance, promoting investor protection, the example that we took just now, market integrity, sustainability via pillars like stakeholder right, whatever the stakeholder shareholders that particular investor is having, they will be having their own rights, their board responsibilities, along with the transparency and stakeholders. And artificial intelligence focusing on the trustworthy human-centric AI. How we can say that artificial intelligence with a specific artificial intelligence is focusing on trustworthy and human-centric AI. Government of India has issued a new document. I'm not sure how many of us have seen that. That document says if there is anything coming up online that is created using artificial intelligence, that particular video, that particular content have to be the creator of that content have to mention that this particular content is AI generated or this particular document is AI generated. So it is compulsory to mention that, and all the companies that is dealing in the telecom domain, electric and electronics domain, they all are supposed to have a grievance officer appointed in that particular company. And that grievance officer will be having a TAT to respond to a query and to provide the resolution of that query. So similarly, here this OECD principle is also helping in terms of artificial intelligence, focusing on trustworthy human-centric AI with principles like inclusive growth, human-centric values, and accountability. Accountability is something that is the minimum requirement while doing any transaction, while doing any activity on the global platform. If you are doing any transaction, in that case, accountability is required. If you are posting any content on social media, even if you are posting any content on social media, at that time accountability will be there, and accountability have to be taken by anyone who is uploading that particular content. Apart from that, the biggest challenge that most of the law enforcement bodies face while dealing with the cybercrime cases, global policy perspective, that is cross-border identity. What is this cross-border identity? It refers to verifying individuals or businesses across countries for secure digital and physical interactions, crucial for global commerce, preventing frauds, and ensuring compliance using digital IDs, biometrics, or federated system while navigating diverse regulation and data standards. How many times it happened that you are scrolling Instagram, and while scrolling Instagram you got one advertisement, and that advertisement says you can get a tracksuit, Puma tracksuit and pair of shoes in say 1999. Or how many time it happens whenever you are scrolling, especially for the females, when you are scrolling you found a decent account that is selling kurtis, and that kurti is of 799 rupees or 599 rupees, that the same kurti is costing you 2000 rupees in the market, but in on the Instagram it is costing you 799 or 599. Most of the time it happens. Now when you are going to purchase that, so there is a risk. You may get the product, you may not get the product. That is the first risk. Second risk is you may be one of the cyber victim, you may not be one of the cyber victim. Third, you may get the good quality, you may not get the good quality. So all these things are having a small star, term and condition star, whenever you are accessing all these services. So for all those things, this cross-border identity helps in verifying the individuals or businesses across the countries. On that basis, you will be able to, you will be confident enough that yes, I can make any changes, I can purchase anything from this particular entity, because this is the verified one. Now it enables seamless online services from banking to e-commerce by establishing trust and simplifying authentication across borders, often leveraging technologies like AI, blockchain, APIs for verification. The same thing that you are doing with Amazon.com, Alibaba.com. So if you are going to purchase anything, if you are doing anything, any other activity online, at the same time, on the basis of the trust, you are doing all these things. Now, what all are the research problems? First is scalability. Up to what extent we can expand this? Next important thing is interoperability. How this interoperability can be helpful and can be explored while using the identity management. And most important thing is usability. Now the question that I have to all the 280 members present in this call: should this identity be fully decentralized? This is the first question. And second question is, who governs this trust? Who should be accountable for all these values or for all these identities? These are the two questions. It would be great if you can answer in the chat window. What are the takeaways? The first takeaway is blockchain reshapes the identity trust, because once identity management is associated with the blockchain, then somehow VCs and DIDs are going to be in the front seat, and they are going to provide you a additional layer of security that will be helping in not sharing the excessive information. Whatever the information is required, that would be limited, and limited information can be searched without sharing the excessive information. And research and policy must be co-evolve. How? From Digital India to Aadhaar to DPDP Act. Policies are reframing based on the requirements. So with this, thank you. We can take the questions.
Any questions?
Thank you so much, Sushant sir.
Welcome, ma'am.
Any
So
questions?
I hope I
Yes, sir, you can continue.
Okay, so I hope I was able to do the justice, and I know it's close to 9. In next 5 minutes, it will be 9 o'clock. So the members who are in this call will not be feeling sleepy post this session. I tried to take the example from the daily life just to get a better understanding. And again, this is not an excuse that I'm taking, but when we talk about such topics, so these topics, so this will not be a justice to do with these topics if we are concluding this in 1.5 hour or 2 hours, to be honest. So, but still, I try to cover up most of the things, covering up with the basics. If in case you have any feedback, all feedbacks are welcome. And if you have any questions, I would be more than happy in answering the questions.
Any queries, you can just raise up your hand so that I can unmute your mic.
Okay, so if you want to connect, you can see my contact details on the screen. And I think yesterday Sonia ma'am also shared the LinkedIn ID, so we can connect there as well. So if we are not having any questions, then we can wrap up the session. If yes, give me a last heart, please. If we can wrap up, give me a last heart.
I
Thank
have
you.
allowed the mic to Mr. Bhalani.
Okay.
Sir, you have any question, you can unmute your mic. Mr. Bhalani. I hope it was a hand raised earlier. Thank you so much, Mr. Tushar.
Thank
So
you, ma'am.
I would like to take a moment on behalf of BCIIT and the organizing team to express our sincere gratitude to Mr. Tushar Sharma for the excellent session he led during our faculty development program. Specifically, we deeply appreciated the in-depth discussion on how blockchain technology can be leveraged to enhance cybersecurity measures. The insights you took into decentralized ledgers, then data immutability, all these were very valuable to all the participants. Thank you once again, Mr. Tushar, for taking the time to contribute so significantly to the success of our program. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the audience to being so patient. And we'll all meet you tomorrow for the last day of the faculty development program. The faculty development program tomorrow would start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the test would be around 7:30 in the evening. So let's connect tomorrow again at 2 o'clock. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Once again, thank you to all the participants for the active listening and proactive participation. And thanks for the patience. Signing off for the day. Jai Hind. Stay safe, stay secure. Jai Hind.
All to connect tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Till then, good night. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much on behalf of the organizing team of BCIIT.